Cult cinema is a deep, deep hole, but go down enough levels and you'll eventually stumble across the work of Seijun Suzuki, the Japanese B-movie director whose work was labelled as making no sense and no money by the studio that produced it. Suzuki boasts a huge filmography that I've not even scratched the surface of enough to do a deep dive on him as a filmmaker. However, he has made an odd little masterpiece that easily claims a place amongst my favourite films, Branded to Kill. But before we get onto that, I want to briefly mention Tokyo Drifter. This is one of Suzuki's many Yakuza films made for the production company Nikatsu, who he was contracted under. It released in 1966, a year before he made Branded to Kill, and I'd say it's a pretty good place to start with Suzuki. I'd honestly encourage tuning yourself out of the plot. To this day I don't really know what's going on myself, and just enjoying the images, the technicolor, and the absurdity. Starting with the insanity of Tokyo Drifter makes Branded to Kill a little bit more digestible, where the story is actually comprehensible. The other reason I think Tokyo Drifter is an important piece of context is because Suzuki's filmmaking contract got terminated after making Branded to Kill, and it's put into perspective when you realise he was making 3 or 4 movies like Tokyo Drifter every year, and Branded to Kill was the last straw before the studio decided they weren't dealing with this guy's shit anymore. So now we arrive at the oh so strange piece of work that is Branded to Kill. Prepare yourselves. Our main character is Hanada, a hitman ranked as the 3rd best in Japan. He's shown to be pretty competent, despite being an absolute weirdo. But everything starts to go wrong when he fails a hit organised by a mysterious woman who hates men and wants to die. Now that's how you get me interested. Straight away, I love the idea of there being a leaderboard for contract killers, because it's goofy but it's also kind of insanely cool. And Hanada is a very interesting character to watch. He's a mix of the suave, cool and collected professional, and an insane guy with a boiling rice fetish. This only works because of the portrayal by Japanese gangster film legend Joe Shishido, who plays the role with authority and charm, but also clearly understands the absurdity of the film he's in. I personally love a moment where he continually shouts "Where are you?" at a recording of a burning woman for over a minute while completely breaking down. While a lot of the other characters just play filler roles, there's also a few who stand out as just as memorable as our main man. His wife is a whole different type of crazy. Misako, a femme fatale with a death wish and an apartment covered in dead butterflies, and the number 1 hitman, who's the pinnacle of perfectionism, but not in the way that anyone would guess. In a way, this film kinda feels like a video game, which is insane considering it came out in 1967. It's like Hitman, full of levels where there's really bizarre ways of executing your targets, like sniping them through a pipe drain of a sink. But sometimes, it's just easier to head straight into an ambush, guns blazing. The thing that makes this a clear cult favourite though, is Suzuki's surrealism, which he claims is unintentional and a byproduct of him just trying to make his films as entertaining as possible. I respect this, but kinda feel like he's underselling himself. His directorial style here feels meaningful, and some of the most surreal moments just feel like really well thought out and intelligent bits of filmmaking. One of the most well-known parts of the film involves a confused and attired Hanada strolling around at night, plagued by thoughts of Misako. Representing this are frames of pop-art birds, butterflies, and rainfall that appear all over the screen. Then we cut straight to this. It's great. I love it. Probably my favourite set piece of the film involves a shootout between Hanada and a group of hitmen. He's attacking a position where they're all bunkered down, and in order to get closer, he tethers his car to a pulley system and crawls forward, hoisting the car along above him to shield him from the gunfire. If the rest of the film is like weird tactics for finishing Hitman levels, this is like finishing a mission using Metal Gear 5 tactics. To top it off, a couple more guys pull up in a car to finish the job. So what does Hanada do? Shoots them from behind, of course. In less than a minute he's stripped down, swam behind them and eliminated the competition. That is top ranking Hitman behaviour. The rest of the film is a drunken paranoid nightmare that should be experienced, so if you haven't watched it yet, go, do it. The film is just stuffed with weird moments that make you think, who the hell thought of this? Which makes a lot more sense when you know that Suzuki rewrote what was probably a pretty shitty B-movie script with the help of 7 other writers in a very short amount of time before filming it. Ideas for scenes were often come up with on the set. This results in imagery that is pretty much burnt into my mind. Like the guy on fire running, rifle in hand in the weirdest way possible, checking out a sniper scope from the perspective of the scope itself, or the moment Hanada spends with this little balloon. The film is fascinating and it breaks every rule, but it still works. I find it hilarious that Nikatsu forced Suzuki to make this film in black and white, thinking that would help neuter his style. But little did they know that limitation breeds creativity, and it was about to go absolutely wild. All of his films, and especially this one, got a rebirth when Nikatsu broke his contract and fired him. He became a counterculture hero, and it's likely why he's gone on to inspire many people's favourite filmmakers, from Tarantino to Jarmusch to Wong Kar-Wai. He's influenced the bullet ballets of John Woo and the playful style of Park Chan-wook. When I first saw Branded to Kill, and particularly this shot, I instantly thought about this shot in Oldboy. Park has good taste. I'm sure we all have those friends that don't like black and white films because they're too slow and they're not interesting, and they don't like foreign films because they hate reading. But in a strange way, this film is the perfect cure for that mentality.